During his publicized program, Issues in the News, which is usually broadcast on social media and some local television stations, the Attorney General made those claims as he sought to clarify the government's position on the proposed amendments to the Representation of the People Act, ROPA, among the other issues which are to be addressed so as to remedy the occurrences of the 2020 general and regional elections. The Attorney General posited that the concerns being raised by members of civil society and other political figures and institutions are misguided and unfair, even as he sought to clear the air on the proposed amendments by the incumbent administration.
Many of the criticisms that I have seen, many of the views expressed out there relate to constitutional reforms.
One such view, as propounded by the Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, Wendell Badrie, recently, suggests that the government is not serious about electoral reforms, since it did not address the issue of the voters' list in the proposed amendments. Nandlall had this to say in response.
There's another component that will come that will deal with registration of electors. From the time the registration process begins until claims and objection and those processes.
He further alluded to the composition of the Ghana Elections Commission and the process by which the chairman of that commission is appointed, which he says can only be altered through the process of constitutional reform.
The way it is constituted is provided for in the Constitution. The way the chairperson is appointed is provided for in the Constitution. You require a 2/3 majority to change the Constitution and to change those provisions. We do not have a 2/3 majority, so we can't touch those provisions in the Constitution.
Meanwhile, the minister said that the process of constitutional reform to address those matters, among others, will begin sometime next year. The Legal Affairs Minister further admitted that his government intends to pass the proposed amendments to ROPA using its majority in the National Assembly.
That the reforms will not relate to constitutional amendments, that these reforms will only be statutory reforms, meaning that they are going to be reforms that we are able as a government to pass with a simple majority in the National Assembly.
During an exclusive interview with Nightly News recently, Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs Wendell Badrie told Nightly News that the APNU AFC opposition will approach the courts if the government is to use its majority in the National Assembly to pass the proposed amendments in its current state, especially given the lack of consultation with the wider cross-section of society.
I believe that they're trying to utilize their purported majority in the National Assembly to ram through legislatively arrangements that they perceive will be in their best interest.
Wendell Badrie for the HGP Nightly News.